There are moments in life, Capricorn, when the air feels heavier. Not because of the weather, but because of something older, deeper, and unspeakably sacred moving beneath the surface of reality. You feel it in the silence between conversations. You sense it in the way your heart suddenly races, without warning, without cause. And you dream, not in pictures, but in echoes. Echoes of someone. Someone who once mattered more than anything. Someone whose name your soul still whispers when no one is listening. Capricorn, this is not imagination. It is not coincidence. It is the beginning of something ancient returning. A return so powerful it will shake the heavens and rupture the ground beneath everything you thought was stable. Because this return does not come to comfort you. It comes to awaken you. And with it, comes a truth you buried long ago. A truth you were never meant to forget. But let me ask you now. Have you been seeing their face in strangers? Have you heard a name in a song that made your body freeze? Have you had a sudden wave of emotion strike you at the exact hour of night, again and again, as if someone was reaching for you through time? This is not nostalgia. This is not longing. This is alignment. There's a reason why the stars are beginning to shift above your chart. There's a reason why the signs are repeating. And there's a reason why you are hearing this message right now. Because someone you once loved, someone whose absence carved a hollow space in the deepest chamber of your heart, is returning. But they are not alone. They carry with them the weight of a truth that was once yours. A truth you gave up to survive. A truth that was buried with your silence, but never forgotten by your soul. Capricorn, before we go any further, comment below, I am ready for what was hidden. Because your readiness matters. The universe responds only to those who declare they are awake. Let the energy gather around you now. Because the story we're about to unfold isn't just about their return. It's about yours. The return of your memory. The return of your courage. The return of the purpose you buried beneath years of discipline, of silence, of duty. Let's begin. Part 1. The prophetic return begins. Capricorn, there are no coincidences in your life, only delayed alignments. You may have spent years convincing yourself that what was lost is gone, that what was unsaid no longer matters, and that the person who once meant everything is simply part of a past you've outgrown. But if that were true, why are you still dreaming of them? Why does a name you've tried to forget still tighten your chest when whispered in passing? Why does a familiar scent, a street corner, a moment of silence suddenly flood you with emotions you can't explain? Because something is returning. Not just a person, but a truth. A truth that never died, only waited. And now, the moment has come for it to rise again. You see, Capricorn, you are not just ruled by Saturn, you are shaped by time itself. You understand the weight of waiting. You understand sacrifice. You've buried your pain under plans, your longing beneath logic, your truth beneath survival. But the soul has its own memory. And what the soul remembers, the universe revives. The person you once loved may reappear in a form you did not expect. They may show up as a message, a dream, an opportunity, or as the living embodiment of a chapter you thought was closed. They are not returning to complete you. They are returning to confront you with what was left unfinished. And the most important question is not, why are they back? But rather, what part of you must now be faced? Capricorn, you have always been the architect of your life. But even the strongest structures must be rebuilt when the foundation shifts. This return, whatever shape it takes, is not a disruption. It is a realignment. And it is here to shake loose the truth you buried just to survive. Pause for a moment. Think about it honestly. What have you never said? What have you never allowed yourself to feel fully? Who did you push away when you weren't ready to face your own depth? The return is not punishment. It is prophecy. It was written long before you were hurt. Long before the silence. And now, that silence is breaking. This is not the end of your story. This is the echo that comes before the reawakening. Let me ask you now. If they showed up at your door today, not just physically, but emotionally, spiritually, would you know what to say? Would you know what to feel? If your answer is uncertain, you are not alone. But you are being called to prepare. Capricorn, this is the moment to remember who you were before the loss. who you were before you learned to hide. Because your soul is calling you back. And the truth that was buried is ready to be seen. Comment below if you've already felt the stirrings of a return you can't quite explain. Because the return isn't just about who's coming back. It's about what within you is rising with them. Life Lesson, Part 1. Sometimes we bury our truth to protect ourselves. But the soul never forgets. What was silenced doesn't die, it waits. And when the time is right, it returns. Not to haunt us, but to heal us. The return you're feeling is not just a person. It's your unspoken self, demanding to be heard at last. Part 2. The truth you buried with your silence. Capricorn, you've always had a complex relationship with truth. Not because you're dishonest, but because you understand the weight of words. You know that once something is said, it changes everything. And for someone who's spent a lifetime building identity, structure, reputation, truth can feel like a wrecking ball. That's why, at some point in your life, you chose silence. Not out of weakness, but out of necessity. Maybe it was a betrayal, a heartbreak, a disappointment that cut so deep, you had no choice but to bury what you felt. You didn't have the luxury of falling apart. You didn't have time to grieve. You had to keep moving. Capricorns are masters of motion under pressure. When others freeze or break, you keep going. You become stronger, colder, focused. But what most people don't realize is that strength often comes at the cost of truth. And truth, when buried, does not dissolve. It waits. It waits for the exact moment your soul is strong enough to hold it. And Capricorn, that moment is arriving. The person returning, whether it's someone literal, symbolic, or a reflection of your past, will not just bring emotions. They will bring a mirror that reflects the version of you who had to go silent. The version who never got closure. The version who still wonders, late at night, what would have happened if I had said what I needed to say? You've likely rewritten history in your mind, telling yourself, it wasn't that serious, or I got over it. But your body remembers. Your soul remembers. And every now and then, something as simple as a scent, a place, a piece of music. It opens a door you thought was locked for good. And now, someone is walking through that door. The truth you buried is not a story, it's an energy. It's the suppressed voice that's shaped every decision since. You've succeeded, yes. You've endured. But you've also avoided. And this moment, this return, is not about reopening old wounds. It's about freeing the part of you that never got to heal. Capricorn, what if the reason this person is coming back is not to be in your life, but to activate the truth you were never allowed to speak? Not every reunion is reconciliation. Sometimes, it's reckoning. This is not about blame. It's about recognition. Because when you acknowledge what you buried, you begin to reclaim the power you gave up when you chose silence over expression. It may feel terrifying, exposing, vulnerable, but it is necessary. Because silence that protects becomes silence that imprisons. And the return is not here to trap you in the past. It's here to open the gate to your future. A future where you are no longer editing yourself for the comfort of others. A future where you don't carry the weight of unspoken words in your chest. A future where your truth isn't a threat, it's a compass. So I ask you now, Capricorn, what did you never say? To them? To yourself? What did you leave buried that now calls for light? Because the return is not random. It is the soul's way of creating a second chance, not to repeat, but to release. And the longer you ignore it, the louder it will get. In dreams. In signs. In your body. In your intuition. This is the time to feel what you once refused to feel. To say what you once chose not to say. Not because they need to hear it, but because you need to be free. Comment below if there's a truth you've carried in silence for far too long. Even if you don't name it, just acknowledge that it exists. Because Capricorn, the return is not just a person. It is the uprising of your own voice. Life Lesson, Part 2. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is stop protecting others from your truth. You didn't fail by going silent. You survived. But now, survival is no longer enough. You are ready for more. And more begins with honesty. Part 3. Signs that refuse to stay silent. Capricorn, you are not someone who leans easily into mystery. You prefer what is concrete, measurable, reliable. But what do you do when reality begins to whisper? When the signs no longer knock politely, but start pounding at the doors of your perception? You've felt it, haven't you? That song playing at just the right moment. That name appearing 3 times in a single day. That dream so vivid, so precise, it lingers in your chest long after you've woken. You tell yourself it's coincidence. Because that's easier, safer, more in line with the version of you who stays grounded, focused, untouchable. But deep down, something in you knows. The universe doesn't waste patterns. Capricorn, your life is being mapped right now, not in logic, but in language. A language not spoken, but shown. Through symbols. Through repetition. Through the kind of moments that make your breath catch and your heart pause just for a second. These are not accidents. They are signals. And they are growing louder. Because you've ignored them long enough. You see, every time you dismissed your intuition, every time you rationalized that strange feeling, every time you called it just a dream, you silenced a message meant just for you. But now, the energy has shifted. The veil is thinner. And the return, the one we spoke of, is drawing closer. So the signs refuse to stay silent. Let's be specific. Have you noticed lights flickering more often lately? Technology glitching in patterns? Objects moving or falling without explanation? Have you felt cold air on your skin when the room was still? These are not paranormal tricks. They are energetic confirmations. Your environment is reacting to your timeline shifting. Reality is rearranging itself around the truth you are about to reclaim. And more than that, someone is trying to get through. Perhaps someone from the other side. Perhaps someone still alive, but energetically connected. Perhaps an aspect of yourself, left behind in a moment you thought you'd forgotten. They are reaching out, not through words, but through frequency. A phone ringing once, then stopping. A book falling open to the same page. A message you almost delete, but something tells you to read again. The universe doesn't yell at you until it has whispered 1,000 times. And Capricorn, it has whispered. And whispered. And whispered. But now, it is roaring. Because the time has come to notice. To admit that there is more to life than what you can prove. To understand that for someone like you, who carries old soul energy and ancestral memory, signs aren't superstition. They are survival. So let me ask you directly. What signs have you seen lately? What dreams have come more than once? What numbers keep following you? Who keeps showing up in your thoughts, uninvited, unexpected, unshakable? That is not nostalgia. That is a summons. The return is not just about a person stepping into your physical life. It is about energy stepping into your awareness. And when you notice, when you acknowledge, you activate the code that's been lying dormant in your soul. Capricorn, this is not the time to ignore the subtle. This is the time to trust what has always been guiding you, quietly, patiently, persistently. Comment below if you've experienced signs lately that you can no longer explain away. What has repeated? What has refused to go unnoticed? Because the universe isn't just testing your awareness. It's preparing you for what's next. Life Lesson, Part 3. There comes a time when logic must bow to intuition. When patterns mean more than proof. When silence is no longer noble, it's a missed message. The signs are speaking now. Not to confuse you, but to confirm. You are on the edge of a return written long before this lifetime began. The question is not, are the signs real? The question is, will you listen? Part 4. The Price of Power and the Return of the Soul Contract. Capricorn, the return is not only a reunion, it is a reckoning. Because behind every powerful Capricorn soul lies a sacred contract, one made long before you took your first breath in this lifetime. And that contract does not concern comfort. It concerns responsibility. The truth is, you were never meant to live a quiet life. That was never the agreement. Your soul chose a harder path, a steeper climb, a mountain few would dare to face. Not because you were being punished, but because you were one of the few who could carry what others could not. That is the price of your power. And that is why the return you're facing now isn't just emotional. It's spiritual. It's ancestral. It's cosmic. Capricorn, this returning presence, be it a person, a memory, a karmic echo, is part of your soul contract. They were written into your story not to comfort you, but to activate a mission that was paused, interrupted, or left incomplete. You may have thought that chapter was closed. You may have tried to move on, rebuild, forget. But destiny never forgets. And contracts, especially soul-level ones, cannot be outrun. They can only be fulfilled. And now, yours is calling. Let's go deeper. What if this returning person is not here to offer love, but to offer you a choice? A choice that will determine not only the direction of your personal life, but the fulfillment of your greater path? Because Capricorn, you're not just a sign of success. You are the keeper of divine timing, the guardian of generational strength, the soul who turns pain into legacy. But legacy cannot be built on unfinished business. And this return is here to finish something once and for all. That's why it's not easy. That's why it feels heavy. Because real power always comes at a price. And your soul knows it. It's why you've been tested so much lately. Why everything seems to be shifting. Why nothing feels stable, not even the things you worked so hard to secure. The old version of you, the one that tolerated silence. The one that settled for half-truths. The one that carried others' burdens without question, cannot enter the next chapter. This return forces you to confront. Where have you abandoned yourself in the name of loyalty? Where have you overpaid in emotional currency to protect someone else's comfort? And most importantly, are you ready to reclaim what you gave away? Because here's the hidden truth, Capricorn. Not everyone who returns is meant to stay. Some return only to deliver a key. And it is your responsibility to know what to unlock. It may be a truth. It may be a final goodbye. It may be a sacred beginning disguised as an ending. But if you do not meet this return with clarity, if you do not remember the contract you signed before this life began, you risk repeating the same pain with different faces. This is your moment of conscious choice. This is the price of your power. Will you stay loyal to an outdated version of yourself? Or will you honor the soul contract calling you forward? Comment below if you've ever felt that a relationship in your life had a higher, hidden purpose. One that went beyond emotion into something sacred and karmic. Because this is not just about the past. It is about everything your future depends on. Life Lesson, Part 4. Every power has a price. And the highest power is not given, it is earned. You were never here just to survive. You were here to fulfill. The return you are facing is not a distraction. It is an activation. The person may be familiar, but the version of you that must meet them now is not. Capricorn, this is your sacred crossroad. Choose with wisdom. Choose with soul. Part 5. The death that births a new identity. Capricorn, every ending you've survived wasn't meant to destroy you. It was meant to strip you of illusions, of roles, of outdated versions of self, until only what was eternal remained. And now, once again, you are being called to release what no longer fits. Not because you failed, but because you've outgrown what once helped you survive. This is the sacred death that no one sees. The invisible funeral you must hold for the version of you who lived in silence, who tolerated less, who carried the burden of becoming everything to everyone else, at the cost of becoming a stranger to yourself. Capricorn, death is not always physical. Sometimes, it is energetic. Sometimes, it is emotional. And sometimes, it is the exact thing your soul has been praying for while your mind resists it. Because here's the truth you've always known. Transformation doesn't begin with a breakthrough. It begins with a burial. What must die now is not your hope, but your need to control everything. Not your heart, but your fear of letting it lead. Not your strength, but the armor that keeps real love, real support, real softness out. You were not born to stay hard forever. You were born to master structure, so that you could learn, in the end, how to surrender. And surrender isn't weakness. It's sacred timing. Capricorn, think of a snake shedding its skin. It doesn't fight the process. It doesn't grieve what no longer protects it. It simply knows. To keep growing, it must leave behind what it once called home. You, too, are at that moment. Something is ready to be released. A job, a role, a title, a relationship, a belief you clung to because it made the world make sense, even if it cost you your peace. But the soul does not grow where safety is worshipped. And now, this symbolic death, the loss, the shift, the unexpected goodbye, is not a punishment. It's a portal. Through it, you will meet the version of yourself that has waited in the wings, watching, quiet, patient, and ready. Ready to lead, ready to feel, ready to no longer pretend. The return we spoke of is only possible through this surrender. You cannot receive what is meant for your next chapter, while still clinging to the language of your last. So ask yourself now, what identity are you afraid to lose? What role no longer fits, but you keep playing? What truth about yourself do you know, but won't yet admit? Because Capricorn, death in the spiritual sense, is not an end. It is the final clearing before the light floods in. It is the cracking of the shell, so the real form can emerge. Comment below if you feel like you're in the middle of an ending, one that doesn't make sense yet, but feels necessary in your bones. Because you're not just losing something, you're shedding. And what rises next will carry your true name. Life Lesson, Part 5. True power is not in what you hold on to. It is in what you are finally willing to release. The version of you that got you here is not the version that will carry you forward. Let it die. With love. With gratitude. With sacred silence. Because only then can the real you begin to live. Part 6. The return that breaks the spell. Capricorn, there comes a moment when everything you've been sensing becomes undeniable. The dreams no longer feel symbolic. The signs no longer feel subtle. The air itself shifts and you know, something, or someone, has returned. This is not a concept anymore. It's not energy you can explain away, or intuition you can suppress. It's here, in your space, in your body, in your reality. And suddenly, the spell you've been under, the one of survival, of pretending, of keeping your heart behind walls, begins to crack. Because this return, Capricorn, is not about nostalgia. It's not here to take you back. It's here to break the timeline you've been trapped in. The silent spell you cast over yourself years ago when you chose to forget instead of forgive. When you chose achievement instead of healing. When you chose silence instead of truth. That spell is dissolving. And the person standing before you, whether physically or through a message, a dream, or a confrontation, is not just a familiar face. They are the key, not the answer, but the activator. They may not even realize it. They may think they're reaching out casually, but on a soul level, they are fulfilling their part of the contract. To return at the precise moment your spirit is ready to reclaim what you abandoned. Capricorn, what you're about to face isn't about them. It's about you, your boundaries, your voice, your ability to choose differently than you did before. And this is important. The return does not mean you have to re-enter their life. Sometimes the return happens so that you can finally speak the truth you once swallowed. Sometimes it happens so that you can finally walk away fully, with your power intact. Sometimes it happens so that you no longer carry guilt, confusion, or the illusion that something was unfinished, because now, it will be. But to break the spell, you must be conscious, present, and willing to feel everything you refused to feel the first time around. Do not mistake this return for a second chance in love, in friendship, or even in closure. This is not about reconciliation. This is about liberation. You are not being asked to fix the past. You are being asked to face it, clearly, honestly, finally. And what you will find is this. The person returning isn't who they were. But neither are you. And that is exactly the point. You don't need to punish them. You don't need to explain yourself. You don't even need to understand every detail of why this is happening now. You only need to remember who you are now, and who you will never be again. This is the spell-breaking moment, the timeline shift, the full body reclaiming of your truth. And as strange as it may sound, you may feel more compassion than anger, more clarity than pain, more gratitude than resentment. Because Capricorn, your soul never needed revenge. It only ever wanted release. Comment below if you've recently encountered someone from your past in a way that felt destined, eerie, or strangely healing. Have you felt the spell breaking? Have you felt yourself waking up? Because that's the real return. The return to clarity, to choice, to yourself. Life Lesson, Part 6. Not all returns are for reconnect ion. Some are for release. The soul does not bring back the past to hurt you, but to set you free from it. When the spell breaks, and the illusion ends, you are not left empty. You are left whole. Capricorn, this is not the past returning. It is you. Returning to yourself. Part 7. The final threshold, truth, power, and divine readiness. Capricorn, you are standing at the edge of a moment that was written across lifetimes. Everything. The silence you kept. The weight you carried. The dreams that haunted you. The return you didn't expect. The truth you buried. The signs you tried to explain away. All of it has led to this. This is the final threshold. The place between who you were and who you are about to become. The space between illusion and clarity. Between karma and calling. This threshold is not loud. It won't announce itself with thunder. It will come quietly, in a decision you make when no one's watching. A choice. A breath. A moment of divine readiness. Because the universe never forces. It waits. And when you are truly ready, it places everything in front of you. The person. The test. The door. The light. But it will not walk you through. That part is yours. Capricorn, what you're feeling now is not confusion. It is the soul stretching toward truth. And truth doesn't feel safe. It feels raw, uncompromising, final. You are not being asked to go back. You are being asked to rise. And to do that, you must choose what version of you walks forward from here. The one who still fears losing control. The one who still shrinks to protect others. The one who doubts their own voice. Or the version who has integrated every lesson. Who has faced every mirror. Who is no longer afraid to live in their full truth, regardless of who walks away, who doesn't understand, who cannot come along. This final threshold requires something sacred. Self-appointment. No one is going to crown you. No one is going to give you permission. You must declare yourself ready. Not because you have all the answers, but because you are finally willing to stop hiding from the questions. Capricorn, you are not being prepared for a relationship. You are being prepared for a revelation. And sometimes, the greatest love story is the one between you and your power. Now ask yourself, what if this return, this convergence of endings and signs and emotional waves, was never about someone else? What if it was all a mirror, a test, a calling back to the deepest part of you, the part that knows, the part that's always known, the part that waited for this exact moment to rise? Comment below if you feel the threshold, if you know something inside you is ready to move forward, even if you don't yet know how. Because Capricorn, the truth is this. The return has happened. The death has occurred. The signs have spoken. And now, the choice is yours. Life Lesson, Part 7. There will always be another reason to wait, to delay, to protect yourself from the risk of transformation. But the soul doesn't seek safety, it seeks expansion. And there is no expansion without surrender. Capricorn, you've carried the past. You've earned the truth. Now, it's time to walk into the future. Not as the person who survived, but as the one who remembers who they were always meant to be. This is your threshold. And you are ready. If this message awakened something in you, Capricorn, don't walk away silently. Subscribe to Zodiac Secrets Revealed so you never miss the moments the universe prepares for you. We don't just read horoscopes here. We reveal destinies. And if you felt the signs, the shifts, the truth rising through these words, then this is where your journey deepens. Click subscribe. Join the circle. Because your story is not over. And what's coming next deserves to be witnessed. Your return has begun. Now let the world feel your presence.